Hello everyone. How are we doing today on this beautiful Sunday? It's a little nippy out there, but it's good from time to time. Today I will be focusing on a little tutorial for you ladies out there who would like to make a card for a favorite male figure in your life, whether it's a husband, a boyfriend, uncles, nephews, you name it. I would give you some kind of ideas. And I'm also going to be listing some materials that you will need, where you can possibly get those materials, and possibly anything that you need to improvise with. So with that said, if once you have gone through the video, if you have any questions, feel free to ask and I will be happy to respond. And of course, subscribe to my YouTube channel so that you will not miss any of my future videos. Now, what I have done, I have gone ahead and do some cutting and snipping in the meantime because I didn't want the video to be exceptionally long. So I'm hoping that it would have met that criteria for you. So first, to begin with, this would be your card base. I normally use 110-pound cardstock. Now, because I'm doing cards on a side for now as a business, I do purchase the entire packet of 110 cardstock, sorry, at Michael's. So I'm not asking anyone to go and buy the whole thing. I'm just letting you know what I use. And of course, I will let you know what you can use as well. So here is my base. I have used a green. You can use that color for everyone, but you want to just kind of be careful in the sense that not everybody likes those you know bright colors and things like that, not unless it's someone for sure, example, who loves red or who loves a specific color and you want to definitely personalize it, then yes, you would change the color. But if you want to be neutral, we go in with grays and browns, perhaps green. I'm just going to use green today, and colors of that nature. So I'm going to go ahead and get started off and show you what I did. Now these were just scraps of cardstock, 65-pound cardstock that I had lying around. I utilized those pieces so I can make at least 3 banners. And with the banner, all basically you do is you just cut it like this, really like a long rectangle, and then you use your scissors and you just kind of gauge. Or if you need to measure, you can go to the back of the paper you cut in and try to get a nice V, and then you cut it from behind, so then you actually get the peaks that you want. So you could do that. And I also cut them in different lengths and they are kind of different sizes. So in that way we have this. Now I also went on in my Microsoft Word, and I did type this out on a piece of it was white, but I used distress ink to put a little red on it there, and I typed out the Happy Valentine's Day. And then of course I printed it out with my printer. And these are just, again, strips that I had around, and I had 2 hearts that I cut out, one black, one red. So I'm going to go ahead and start to assemble the green one. So basically I'm going to use my what you call it, my jumbo tape runner, and I'm going to go ahead and do the first one. So I'm just going to put a couple of rows. Now if you don't have you may not have a tape roller, but they're a little I think at Walmart does have those smaller sets. I think I used to buy them when I first started. It was like, I think, either 4 or 5 in a set, and it's tape runners that you can use, because I find sometimes they would sit better on the card and not create that extra wetness, that might not necessarily be attractive. But you can use glue if you want to, but just try to run it as thinly as possible. So this is the first one you will do. So you would line your first, which is the longest, Now this one, you can either choose to overlap it, or you can just have it, you know, side by side. It's just up to how much space you have. Now I don't have enough space for the black one, so I'm just going to lightly overlap this one so that I can get this one overlapped as well. There we go. So again, I'm going to get this one done just the same way as the first one. Oh, it looks like I'm having a bit of an issue with my tape runner, so I'm going to switch to glue. Like I said, you can use glue as well. So I'm going to just do a few tips around just so that I can get it to stick. Yeah, but sometimes depending on the oops, made a mess here. Depending on the oh yeah, my thoughts just went out the window. Yeah, depending on the paper, the cardstock you're using, sometimes it may mess with the tape runner like it just did, where I could not get it to run properly. What it did was it just tore the paper instead. So yeah. Okay, so as you can see, this is the second. Okay, so this is 2, and then let's go ahead and do the last one. Now I used embossing folders just to get the pattern on there, but if you don't have embossing folders, you can always use paper that has a pattern or a print on it. That would work just as fine. You don't have to go and, you know, buy embossing folders and all of that good stuff, you know. So far you see it's just pretty simple. I'm going to put a little bit of glue here because my tip doesn't want to stick. I also use a little bit of tissue from time to time, like to just take the excess glue out in this case. So right now you can see you have 3 rows here. Then I am going to go ahead and put a strip across that, which is like this. Now it's a little longer than what I have here, so I am going to just kind of eyeball it and snip. Hopefully I eyeballed it good. So I'm going to go ahead and get this piece stuck across about right here. Okay, so let me get that done. And of course you want to just make sure everything is nicely lined up and straight as possible. Okay, so this would be the next step. And again, just play around with your pieces. It doesn't have to be perfect. Put all the love you want in it. That's fine. And then I'm going to go ahead and put a couple hearts on here. And I should be able to use my tape runner for those because these are not as... Nope, I can't. It's not going to work. So just have glue just in case you run into trouble with your runner. So I'm going to just kind of angle this here for a minute like this. And there is no, you know, particular way you can lay it. It's just what looks good to you. Okay, so I'm going to also do this here. Okay, so now you see I have the first card layered, but then I am missing my sentiment. So I am going to get my sentiment, and I am going to think I will still place it here, across here, you know, just across the front here. That's fine. You could do that too, or if you want, you can put it somewhere else. It's entirely up to you where you want to put it, but I'm just going to put it right in front of right here. Okay, so that's where it's going to be. So I'm going to go ahead and get it stuck. And again, like I said, you can use your printer to get your sentiments done. You don't have to have stamps and all of that. So I'm just kind of leaving it at a bit of... I'm just offsetting it. Is that there's no rhyme or reason. I'm just offsetting. So this would be the first option an example of what you can do. If you want to use banners, you just overlap your banners to fit the size of the card. And then pretty much, that's it. Now, if it's say to your brother or your father, when you print doing your sentiment on your in your Microsoft Word, you could add daddy or boyfriend or whatever you want to add on your strip, okay? The next option I have here would be brown. And I decided to use black and gold with the red. And of course, here is a bit of a music sheet. The reason why is because I was thinking, like the sheet represents, in my own mind, of course, romance or something nice, music between the two of you, if it's to a husband or a boyfriend or, a fiance, it just depends. And of course, likewise, for women too, you could use that. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to add here this to the top part of the card, because you could use two different patterns in order to do that. So I'm just going to go ahead and use my runner, because it looks like this sheet is able to access the runner better. And I'm just going to cut off the excess when I'm done. So I will go ahead and place my sheet on the top here. Let's see, do we have that? Okay, I'm just going to stick it a little bit because it was off. And that can happen too when if you kind of laying your item down, you may run into a little layer issues. You can just be careful not to tack it down too hard at first until you get it where you need it to be. Okay, I think I got it now. Okay, so this is the first part. So when I'm done, I'm just going to flip that over and just cut it off. So I'm not going to worry about that too much. Now I'm going to take the second part and I'm going to go ahead and overlap that as well. So let's get that done. I don't think that is going to do too well with my glue, my runner, so I'm just going to use glue from the get-go. So let's hope I have enough glue here. Okay, so I'm going to overlap this. I think I'll put it a little lower down. Okay, so I kind of lined it up with one of the lines on the music sheet best as I can. So now what I'm going to do, I am going to cut off the excess. So I'm going to get my scissors like this. So even if you don't know how long or how wide you want to cut anything, you could always stick it off and then cut off the excess. So these are just two sheets that I've put together in order to do this. Hopefully you don't need your glasses like me, because everything looks just kind of the same to me right now. Okay, so let's say this is it for now. I may have to do a little bit of you see, like here it wants to unstick, so I'm just going to kind of put a little glue on the end here. It's always good to have a little glue to help out with the situation. Okay. All right, so if you notice, I have, like, I'm using brown tones with black. Okay, now this is you don't necessarily have to do that again. Like I said, depends on who you're making the card for. You may not need to use these dark tones, but if you want to be neutral, then yes, you want to do that if you don't mind. Now I'm going to go ahead and put a gold strip, whoops, across, like kind of just to give it a little something. So I'm going to use my glue and I'll show you as well what it comes out like once I have done it. Need a little more glue. Okay, so I'm going to put it to the tip and I'm going to hopefully like get it more as centered as possible. Okay, and I'm going to go ahead and cut the excess. Well, if this was stop sticking on my scissors, that'll work. All right, so this would be the center. So far you notice I have two different shades of, or patterns that you could use. That's another option if you want to, make patterns or do whatever you need. And then I am going to actually be using three this time, three hearts. So I'm going to start off by putting the big black one first. And you want to play with it anyhow you want to. There is no specific right or wrong way to do it. Now I'm going to do the other one, the medium one. I'm going to kind of make it overlap a little bit. And then I'm going to do the last one, which is the red. Now I'm just using the tissue, like I said, just to take out any extra. Okay, so far you see how it comes out. Okay, so it's looking more masculine than it's looking feminine. I'm just going to put a little more glue here. You might need a little glue from time to time just to get pieces stuck. Okay, and then I am going to just put this strip again over everything. Yeah, that can work there too. Or we can put it up here. Yeah, I'll put it up here this time because I think it looks good. Now, if you want to get more fancy, there's like mountain squares and things like that you can use to add a little more dimension to it. So it's up to you if that's what you want to do. You can get mountain squares at most craft stores. I believe you should be able to get that at Walmart as well. But there it is. Let me just get those things out the way. So we have two different cards, okay, for men. These are just options on the colors you could use that are Valentine and not all reds, like all mushy like us ladies like it. So if you do like those suggestions, like I said, feel free to ask any questions. I will definitely be putting just a list of materials you would need to do any kind of cards on your own. If you want to do that for Valentine's Day, that is fine. So thank you so much for watching, and I do appreciate your time and audience. Have a safe week, and I look forward to seeing you next week for another tutorial. Bye bye.